Love is not always expressed in grand speeches, elaborate gifts, or dramatic gestures. In fact, some of the deepest and most lasting forms of love are shown in silence, in the small choices a man makes every day, without needing recognition or applause. We often imagine romance as fireworks, as big anniversaries, or as the once-in-a-lifetime moments that sweep us off our feet. But the truth is, real love, steady, enduring, and irreplaceable, reveals itself in the quiet details. It's in the way he looks at you when you're not paying attention, the sacrifices he makes when no one is watching, and the consistency of his actions that silently whisper, "You are my person." Think about it. Anyone can promise you the world in words, but not everyone can back up those words in the rhythm of daily life. Words are easy. Actions take effort. That's why it's in the ordinary routines, the cup of coffee placed beside you, the late-night text when he's exhausted, the way he remembers something you said months ago, that his devotion shines the brightest. These little choices may go unnoticed by the rest of the world, but to you, they form the invisible threads of security and trust that bind your relationship together. The beauty of quiet love is that it doesn't need to announce itself. It is not fragile, seeking validation through constant reminders. Instead, it's strong, grounded, and confident enough to simply exist. He doesn't have to compete for attention because his care is genuine. He doesn't need to prove his worth to outsiders because he is busy proving his love to you, one subtle act at a time. These small gestures build a foundation that is far stronger than fleeting passion. They create a sense of safety, of being truly seen, of knowing that you don't have to demand love. It's already being given, willingly, without conditions. And this is what makes someone irreplaceable. It's not just about attraction or compatibility. It's about showing up consistently in ways that make you feel valued, cherished, and chosen. You realize that while many people can say they love you, few can make you feel that love in the quiet, ordinary spaces of life. He proves it not by shouting it from the rooftops, but by the way he makes space for your happiness, your dreams, and your heart, even when it costs him his own comfort. In this journey, we'll uncover the subtle yet powerful signs that reveal when a man is truly invested in you, not just as a partner, but as someone he never wants to lose. These are not dramatic displays meant to impress strangers. They are private, tender, and deeply real. From remembering the tiniest details about you to choosing you again and again, these quiet ways are the clearest proof that you are not just a part of his life. You are the part he holds closest. He remembers small details about you. He remembers small details about you. And at first it may seem like such a small thing, almost too ordinary to matter. But when you stop and think about it, you realize how powerful it truly is. Most people in your life forget half the things you tell them, not because they don't care, but because they aren't paying that close attention. Yet when a man who values you makes the effort to hold on to the smallest fragments of your words, your habits, your likes and dislikes, it shows that he is not just listening, he is deeply invested in who you are. Maybe you once casually mentioned your favorite childhood snack, or you told a story about a song that reminds you of home. Weeks or even months later, he surprises you by bringing that snack into the room, or he plays that song when he knows you've had a rough day. Those moments are proof that his mind holds on to you even when you're not around. It's not about grand declarations or dramatic gestures, but about the quiet consistency of showing that you matter enough to occupy his thoughts. When someone remembers your details, it means they're not just hearing your words, they're connecting to your soul. He notices the way you like your coffee, the way your voice changes when you're nervous, or how you tuck your hair behind your ear when you're thinking. It might sound ordinary to outsiders, but to you it feels like being seen in the most intimate way. There's a comfort in knowing that you don't have to remind him of what matters to you, because he's already paying attention. It tells you that he values your presence so much that even the tiniest pieces of you are important enough to be stored in his memory. Over time, these little acts of remembrance build trust and closeness. You start to see that he isn't just passing through your life, he's engraving you into his world. Every remembered detail becomes a gentle whisper that says, "I see you, I know you, and you matter to me." That kind of quiet, attentive love doesn't fade easily. It proves that you're irreplaceable in his life, not because of what you give or do, but simply because of who you are. He makes time even on his busiest days. He makes time even on his busiest days. And that is one of the clearest, quietest signs that you truly matter to him. Time is one of the most valuable resources anyone has, and when someone is stretched thin with responsibilities, deadlines, and obligations, it is easy to let relationships slip into the background. Yet, when he chooses to carve out a moment, even if it's just a short call, a quick message, or a surprise coffee drop-off, it speaks louder than hours of idle talk. It tells you that you are not just a passing thought in his schedule, you are a priority woven into his everyday life. It may not always look like candlelit dinners or grand outings. Sometimes it's him calling you during a lunch break, texting you before bed no matter how late it is, or stopping by just to see you for 5 minutes before heading to his next responsibility. Those small investments of time reveal his intention. He doesn't want to let a single day pass without making sure you feel his presence. It shows that in the midst of the noise of life, you are the calm he returns to. You're not competing with his career, his friends, or his goals. You're part of the life he's building. And he refuses to let busyness erase that truth. When someone gives you their time during their busiest moments, it shows the depth of their commitment. He may be exhausted, but he still chooses to show up because being with you replenishes him in ways nothing else can. Even a short moment together feels meaningful because it carries the weight of sacrifice. It is easy to give time when you're free. It takes real love to create time when you're not. In the long run, these efforts stitch a deeper bond between you. You feel valued, not because he has endless hours to give, but because he deliberately chooses to dedicate a part of his limited time to you. That choice, made again and again, is proof that no matter how chaotic life gets, you remain at the center of his priorities. And in that quiet devotion, you see a love that is steady, intentional, and irreplaceable. He listens without interrupting. He listens without interrupting. And while it might seem like a simple habit, it carries profound meaning in a world where most people are too busy preparing their next reply to truly hear what you are saying. When a man chooses to stay quiet and give you the space to express yourself fully, it shows that he values not just your words, but the emotions and experiences behind them. It's a way of saying, your voice matters here. That silence is not emptiness, it's respect. It's focus, and it's love translated into patience. In those moments, you feel safe opening up, knowing you won't be cut off, dismissed, or judged. He doesn't rush you through your thoughts, nor does he brush aside your feelings with quick solutions. Instead, he waits, nods, and holds the space so you can finish. And when he does speak, his response reflects that he has not just heard your words, but absorbed them. This kind of listening is rare. It demands self-control, empathy, and a willingness to step out of one's own ego. It's not about winning the conversation or showing how smart he is. It's about showing you that your perspective matters deeply to him. Listening without interrupting also builds trust. You learn that you can confide in him without fear of being silenced or overshadowed. It makes your connection more intimate, because you start to feel like you can share even the messy or complicated parts of yourself. That patience creates a bond where vulnerability isn't something to fear, but something to embrace together. He gives you the freedom to untangle your thoughts aloud, to cry, to vent, or to dream, knowing he'll be there, fully present. Over time, this quiet act of listening shapes the relationship into something stronger than surface-level affection. It shows you that he isn't just in love with an image of you, but with your real, unfiltered self. The way he listens without cutting in, without rushing, without trying to dominate the moment, becomes its own form of devotion. It tells you that he cherishes your presence, not just for who you are when you're smiling, but also for who you are when you're speaking your truth. In that stillness, you realize how rare and irreplaceable his love truly is. He respects your opinions quietly. He respects your opinions quietly, and that quietness is what makes it so powerful. Many people nod along just to appear polite, but deep down, they dismiss what you say or override your thoughts with their own. When a man genuinely respects your opinions, even when he doesn't fully agree, you can feel the difference. He doesn't roll his eyes, cut you short, or make you feel small for expressing yourself. Instead, he listens, takes in your perspective, and holds space for your words to stand on their own. Respect like this isn't loud or boastful. It's subtle, steady, and deeply meaningful. You notice it in the little ways. When you're discussing plans, he asks for your input and actually considers it before making a decision. If you disagree, he doesn't get defensive. He leans into the conversation and tries to see the world through your eyes. That kind of quiet respect shows you that he doesn't just value you as a partner, but as an individual with a mind and voice of your own. It means he doesn't view love as control, but as balance, a space where both people matter equally. This respect extends into the way he talks about you to others too. He doesn't dismiss your opinions in front of friends or family. Instead, he acknowledges them, sometimes even referencing your thoughts when he speaks. It's his way of honoring you without making a show of it. Over time, these quiet affirmations build a foundation of trust. You learn that you can share your true feelings, your bold ideas, or even your doubts, without fear of being judged or ignored. When someone respects your opinions in this way, it creates harmony. Even in disagreements, you feel safe because you know your voice won't be crushed. And in the moments when he chooses your suggestion or follows your advice, you realize he doesn't just hear you, he values your judgment as much as his own. That quiet respect is proof that he sees you as an equal partner, someone whose thoughts and wisdom shape the life you are building together. And in that you see a love that is steady, humble, and irreplaceable. He supports your dreams without question. He supports your dreams without question. And that kind of support speaks volumes about the depth of his love. It's one thing for someone to say they care about you, but it's another to actively stand behind your ambitions, even when those dreams don't directly benefit him. When a man truly values you, he doesn't make you feel guilty for wanting more out of life, and he doesn't dismiss your goals as unrealistic or unnecessary. Instead, he becomes your silent cheerleader, encouraging you when doubts creep in and reminding you of your worth when the world makes you second-guess yourself. Support without question doesn't mean he blindly agrees with everything. It means he believes in you enough to trust your vision. If you tell him you want to start a new career, move to a different city, or try something that scares you, his first instinct isn't to list obstacles but to ask, "How can I help?" That shift in perspective, from doubt to partnership, gives you courage you might not have had on your own. It reassures you that you're not chasing your dreams alone. Someone is walking beside you, steady and patient, helping you stay strong when the road gets hard. You notice his support in the little sacrifices he makes. Maybe he adjusts his schedule so you can attend classes, covers responsibilities when you're too busy, or celebrates even your smallest milestones as if they're his own. These quiet gestures create an atmosphere where your dreams feel possible, not just hopeful. His actions show that he doesn't see your success as competition, but as a shared victory that strengthens the bond between you. Over time, his unwavering belief in you transforms the way you see yourself. You start to realize that your dreams aren't just fragile wishes. They're valid, worthy, and achievable. And in every step forward, you can feel his presence anchoring you, reminding you that love is not just about romance, it's about empowerment. His support tells you that you're not a burden for dreaming big, but rather a partner whose happiness and growth mean everything to him. And in that you discover a rare love, quiet, strong, and unshakable. He notices your moods instantly. He notices your moods instantly. And that small but powerful awareness is one of the quietest signs of deep love. Most people around you might only see the surface, your smile, your routine, your words. But he reads between the lines. He can sense the shift in your tone, the way your eyes look when you're holding something back, or even the silence you use to hide your stress. Without you having to explain, he just knows when something is different. That sensitivity shows that he is not just paying attention to what you say, but to who you are beneath the words. Sometimes it shows in subtle ways. You might try to mask your sadness with a forced laugh, and he gently asks, "Are you okay?" Or maybe you've had a long day, and before you even complain, he already makes you a cup of tea, dims the lights, or offers a hug. These gestures aren't dramatic, but they're incredibly meaningful because they prove that your emotions matter to him. He isn't just present in your happy moments. He is tuned into your quiet struggles as well. Noticing your moods instantly also means he values emotional closeness. He wants to understand you, not to fix everything, but to share the weight of your feelings. He doesn't dismiss your frustration or sadness as overreactions. He acknowledges them and makes space for you to feel. That kind of awareness builds trust. You know that even on the days when you can't find the words, he will still notice, still care, still hold you together without demanding explanations. Over time, this attentiveness makes you feel safe in a way few relationships can. You realize you don't have to shout for your emotions to be seen. because he already recognizes them in the quiet details. It tells you that you are deeply known, not just for your strengths, but for your vulnerabilities. And in that silent recognition, when he sees your unspoken moods and chooses compassion every single time, you understand that his love runs deeper than appearances. It's a love that doesn't wait for grand confessions but stays alert to the whispers of your heart. That is what makes you feel irreplaceable in his life. He sacrifices small comforts for you. He sacrifices small comforts for you. And though those sacrifices may seem minor to the outside world, they carry a weight of love that words cannot capture. True affection often isn't proven through grand gestures, but through the quiet choices a person makes day after day. When he gives up little pieces of his own comfort to make your life easier, it's his way of showing that your happiness matters more to him than his convenience. It might be as simple as giving you the warmer blanket on a cold night, letting you choose the restaurant even when he was craving something else, or staying up late just to talk when he's exhausted. These moments reveal his priorities. You first, him second. This type of sacrifice is rarely about material things. It's about attention, patience, and love in action. Maybe he gives you the last bite of his favorite dessert, or he sits through a movie you love even though it isn't his taste. To someone else, those things might look insignificant, but to you, they're signs of devotion. They're proof that he's willing to bend his own comfort, however small, to see you smile, or to make your day lighter. The beauty of these quiet sacrifices is that they aren't demanded, they're freely given. He doesn't keep score or remind you of what he gave up. He does it naturally, almost without thinking, because to him, your well-being is worth more than a temporary inconvenience. Over time, these repeated acts of consideration create a foundation of trust. You feel safe knowing that in big or small ways, he will always put you at the heart of his choices. This willingness to sacrifice builds intimacy that can't be faked. It reassures you that you're not in this relationship alone. You have a partner who is willing to carry the weight with you, even in the tiniest ways. And when you look closely, you realize those small sacrifices aren't small at all. They're evidence of a love that is patient, selfless, and enduring. His quiet acts of giving prove that you are more than just important to him. You are precious, irreplaceable, and worth every little comfort he lets go of. He protects you in subtle ways. He protects you in subtle ways. And it's often so natural that you don't even notice it until you reflect on the little moments. Protection doesn't always mean dramatic rescues or bold declarations. It can be as simple as him walking on the side of the road closer to traffic, or making sure you get home safely even when he can't be there in person. These quiet actions reveal his instinct to keep you safe without needing recognition or applause. He doesn't announce it. He just does it, because your well-being is always on his mind. Sometimes it shows up in everyday situations. Maybe he notices when someone is speaking to you disrespectfully and gently shifts the conversation, shielding you from unnecessary discomfort. Or he offers his jacket when the weather suddenly turns cold without you having to ask. Even in small gestures like double-checking that you lock the door or ensuring you have what you need before leaving the house, his protective nature shines through. These are not grand gestures, but they are proof that he sees himself as someone who wants to make your world feel safer. This kind of protection isn't about control, it's about care. He doesn't limit your independence or take away your choices. Instead, he quietly reinforces your strength by standing beside you. He understands that love isn't just about sharing joy. It's also about easing fears, softening burdens, and creating a sense of security that allows you to thrive. Knowing he is there, watching out for you in ways you might overlook, gives you peace that words can't fully capture. Over time, his subtle protection builds an unshakable sense of trust. You learn that he is reliable, not just in the obvious moments, but in the hidden details where his attentiveness matters most. It's the way he steadies you in a crowded room, or how he notices when you're uncomfortable and offers quiet reassurance. These small yet powerful actions whisper the truth. He doesn't just love you, he safeguards you. And in those moments you realize that his love is not just tender, it is a shield, a steady presence that makes you feel irreplaceable in his life. He shares his secrets only with you. He shares his secrets only with you. And that quiet exclusivity is one of the most intimate signs of trust and closeness. Secrets are currency, small vulnerabilities, past embarrassments, private dreams, or the soft, unedited parts of himself that he doesn't hand out lightly. When a man chooses to keep those things for your ears alone, it means he trusts you with the fragile, messy pieces of who he is. That choice is not casual. It's deliberate. It says, without fanfare, you are the one I can be undone with. This sharing often starts slowly, a childhood memory he's never told anyone, a fear he's carried for years, a private regret that has weight. When he reveals these parts, he's testing the water, handing you a fragile thing to hold. How you receive it matters. If you react with judgment or distance, the door closes. If you respond with quiet care, the world shifts. He learns that your presence is a safe place. Over time, the habit deepens. He begins to text you little confessions at odd hours, admits the small ways he's insecure, or laughs at faults he'd never show in public. Those moments become a private language between you two, an archive of trust that no one else reads. There's also power in the fact that he does not overshare these things on social media, with friends or in casual conversation. He resists the urge to dramatize or weaponize his vulnerabilities. Instead, he keeps them sacred. That restraint proves his respect for the intimacy you share. It means he values the relationship itself more than the attention or sympathy that airing secrets might bring. When someone entrusts you with that inner world, it changes how you relate. You feel chosen, not because of drama or spectacle, but because you are the quiet guardian of his hidden life. That responsibility forges closeness. You know his soft spots, and he knows you hold them gently. In the slow accumulation of private confessions and shared silences, a bond forms that is difficult to replicate. It's not only loving, it's trusting at a level that makes you essential to his emotional landscape. 10. He values your presence over others. He values your presence over others, and it shows not in loud declarations, but in the quiet choices he makes every single day. When you walk into a room, his attention shifts. Not because he ignores the rest of the world, but because you anchor him in a way no one else does. He could be surrounded by friends, colleagues, or family, yet his eyes search for you. His comfort settles when you're near. That prioritization speaks volumes. It says that in a world full of noise, you are his peace. You notice it in subtle patterns. He doesn't cancel plans with you for something more exciting. Instead, he adjusts his schedule to keep his promises, making it clear that your time together is sacred. When he has to choose between staying longer at a gathering or being with you, he leans toward you without hesitation. Even when distance or work keeps him away, he makes sure you feel included, sending a quick message or call just to remind you, I'm thinking of you. It's not about isolation from others. It's about showing that your presence is irreplaceable in his life. This value isn't always measured in time, but in quality. When you talk, he puts his phone down. When you're together, he doesn't treat it like background noise. He invests in the moment, as if nothing else matters more than you being there. That kind of presence is rare in a world distracted by constant demands. It reassures you that you are not competing for his attention, because you already hold it. Over time, these quiet choices shape the foundation of the relationship. You stop questioning whether you matter, because his actions answer it daily. He values you not just as someone to be around, but as the person whose presence makes life fuller, lighter, and more meaningful. And in those consistent gestures, choosing you over convenience, prioritizing your company over the crowd, you realize his love is not shallow or temporary. It's steady, intentional, and deeply rooted. In that truth, you see yourself as irreplaceable. Not because he says it, but because he proves it in the way he lives. He prioritizes your happiness silently. He prioritizes your happiness silently. And the beauty of it lies in the fact that he doesn't announce it or demand recognition. He simply makes small adjustments, little sacrifices, and thoughtful choices that put your well-being and joy first. You may not even notice at times, because he doesn't point out what he has done. That's the mark of genuine love. Acts of care done not for applause, but for the comfort it brings you. Maybe he chooses the restaurant you've been craving, even though he wanted something different. Perhaps he watches your favorite show with you, even if it isn't his taste, just so he can share your laughter. Or it could be as simple as letting you sleep in while he quietly handles chores, making sure you wake up to peace instead of stress. These quiet gestures are his way of telling you that your happiness is his priority, without needing to say the words out loud. Prioritizing your happiness silently also means he pays attention to what matters to you. He notices the small things that make you smile and the triggers that weigh you down. Instead of pushing his own agenda, he gently shifts the path to keep your days lighter. It isn't about losing himself. It's about creating a balance where both of you can thrive, but making sure that you feel valued every step of the way. His love is not about control. It's about contribution, quietly adding comfort and joy to your life without asking for anything in return. Over time, this pattern builds trust and security. You don't have to wonder if you're being loved, because the evidence is woven into your everyday life. His actions remind you that you're not just important, you're cherished. He may not say, "I'm putting you first" in words, but you feel it in the way he listens, adapts, and gives. In those silent acts, you see a love that is steady, selfless, and unshakable. A love that proves you are irreplaceable in his world, not because he tells you, but because he lives it every single day. He chooses you again and again, he chooses you again and again, and that decision, repeated quietly in countless ways, is the heart of true love. Love isn't proven in the grand beginnings when everything feels new and exciting. It's proven in the everyday choices. When life gets messy, routines settle in, and distractions tempt the heart to wander. When a man continually chooses you through words, through presence, through loyalty, it means he is not with you out of convenience or habit, but out of deliberate devotion. You see it in the way he shows up, not just in moments of celebration, but also in times of hardship. When things get difficult, instead of turning away, he leans closer. When arguments happen, he doesn't treat them as excuses to drift apart. Instead, he uses them as reminders of why he wants to fight for the bond you share. His choice of you is not conditional on perfect days or constant harmony. It's rooted in something deeper, a recognition that you are his person, flaws and all. Choosing you again and again also means he resists the lure of what's easier or new. The world is full of distractions, but his focus returns to you. Whether it's ignoring the noise of outside opinions or brushing off fleeting temptations, his loyalty speaks louder than any promises could. He doesn't just stay physically present, he invests emotionally, showing you that your relationship is not stagnant, but alive and evolving. Over time, this ongoing choice becomes a quiet rhythm, the background music of your relationship. Every message he sends, every hand he reaches for, every plan he makes with you in mind is proof that love isn't just something he feels. It's something he practices daily. And in those moments, you realize you're not loved by accident. You're loved on purpose. He doesn't choose you because he has to. He chooses you because he wants to. Again and again, through every season, through every change, he decides that you are the one worth holding on to. And in that decision, repeated endlessly, you see the clearest sign that you are irreplaceable in his life.